She stood in the airport terminal with tears in her eyes. Not because she was leaving, but because the one man she had secretly loved for 2 years, didn't even come to say goodbye. What she didn't know was that he was standing just 30 feet away, hidden behind a concrete pillar, watching her leave. And by the time he found the courage to speak, it was already too late. Some people fall in love at first sight. Others don't realize they're in love until the person they've always counted on is suddenly gone. For Ethan Carter, it took exactly 730 days. 2 years. 730 mornings pretending everything was normal. 730 nights convincing himself friendship was enough. He was wrong. The first time Ethan met Lily Brooks wasn't magical. No slow-motion entrance. No dramatic music. She accidentally spilled iced coffee all over his laptop in a crowded bookstore cafe. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. She looked completely horrified. Ethan stared at the dripping keyboard before laughing. I guess my emails needed a shower. Lily blinked. You're not angry. I probably should be. She laughed. And somehow, that awkward conversation lasted 3 hours. They became friends almost immediately. Every Saturday they explored a different part of Seattle. Hidden bookstores. Tiny bakeries. Farmers markets. Old movie theaters. Lily carried a vintage film camera everywhere she went. She photographed everything. Strangers laughing. Rain on windows. Dogs wearing sweaters. But somehow, she never liked having her own picture taken. Whenever Ethan lifted his phone toward her, she'd grin. Nope. Then she'd hide behind him. It became their little tradition. Everyone assumed they were dating. Cashiers. Neighbors. Even complete strangers. Lily always laughed. We're just friends. Ethan smiled every single time. Because correcting people felt safer than admitting the truth. The truth scared him. If he confessed, he could lose the only person who made ordinary days feel extraordinary. So he stayed quiet. Months passed. Then a year. Then another. Life settled into routines. Every Monday morning. Coffee before work. Every Friday. Pizza and terrible horror movies. Every birthday. A handwritten letter instead of expensive gifts. Lily once told him, I think letters last longer than flowers. So Ethan started writing one every year. He just never gave them to her. Instead, he folded each letter carefully, placed it inside a small wooden box, and hid it in the back of his closet. 24 letters. 24 chances he never took. His younger sister Emma noticed everything. You love her. I don't. You literally smile differently when she texts. I smile normally. No. Emma laughed. You smile like an idiot. Ethan rolled his eyes. We're friends. Emma became serious. Then why do you look heartbroken every time another guy asks her out? He didn't answer. Because she already knew. Lily dated occasionally. Nothing serious. A teacher. A musician. An architect. Every relationship ended after a few months. Each breakup secretly relieved Ethan. Which made him hate himself. Because real friends don't celebrate someone else's heartbreak. One rainy evening. They sat on the roof of Ethan's apartment building eating takeout noodles. The city lights reflected across wet streets below. Lily suddenly asked. Can I ask you something? Shoot. Why have you never dated anyone? Ethan looked away. I've been busy. She smiled softly. That's not the real reason. He felt his heartbeat speed up. This was it. This was the moment. Just say it. Tell her. 2 simple words. I love. Before he could speak, her phone rang. She glanced at the screen. It's my mom. She stood. I'll be right back. The moment disappeared. And somehow, neither of them ever brought it up again. A month later, everything changed. Lily received an email she'd been dreaming about since college. A photography fellowship in Italy. 2 full years documenting villages, landscapes, and local communities across Europe. She ran straight to Ethan's apartment. I got it. He hugged her without thinking. She laughed into his shoulder. I actually got it. He smiled. I'm proud of you. Those words were true. Every single one of them. But another sentence stayed trapped inside his chest. Please don't go. The following weeks became a countdown. 30 days. 20. 10. Every goodbye felt heavier than the last. Every laugh felt borrowed. Emma watched him falling apart. You still have time. I know. So tell her. I can't. Why? What if she doesn't feel the same? Emma sighed. And what if she does? The night before Lily's flight, she invited Ethan for one last walk. They wandered through the streets they'd explored hundreds of times before. Eventually, they reached the old bookstore cafe. The same place where everything had begun. Lily smiled. Funny, isn't it? What is? If I hadn't spilled that coffee, we probably never would have met. Silence settled between them. Then she looked directly into his eyes. Her smile faded. Ethan. I need to ask you something. He felt his pulse pounding in his ears. This time, nothing interrupted them. No phone calls. No strangers. No excuses. She took one slow breath. Have you ever wanted us to be more than friends? Ethan froze. For 2 years, he had imagined hearing those words. He had rehearsed this moment while driving home from work. While lying awake at night. Even while standing in the shower. But now that it was finally here, his mind was completely blank. Lily waited. Not impatiently. Not nervously. Just. Hopefully. Have you ever wanted us to be more than friends? The answer was simple. Yes. It had always been yes. But fear has a strange way of sounding like logic. What if you're imagining it? What if she only asks because she's leaving? What if you ruin everything? He forced a smile. I've never wanted to lose our friendship. Lily held his gaze for a few seconds. Long enough for hope to disappear from her eyes. Then she smiled. A smaller smile this time. I understand. She nodded once. I'm really glad we met, Ethan. It sounded like gratitude. But somehow, it also sounded like goodbye. The next morning, Seattle woke beneath gray skies. Rain tapped softly against apartment windows. Ethan stared at the wooden box hidden in his closet. 24 handwritten letters. Every birthday. Every Christmas. Every anniversary of the day they met. Every page contained the words he never had the courage to say. He opened the first one. Dear Lily. Today you laughed so hard you cried because I accidentally ordered dog treats instead of cookies online. I think hearing you laugh is becoming my favorite sound. Another letter. You looked beautiful today. I almost told you. Maybe next year. Another. If loving you quietly is the price of keeping you in my life, I'll pay it. Ethan closed the box. His hands were shaking. Emma walked into the room. She looked at the letters. Then at her brother. "You're running out of tomorrows." The airport was 40 minutes away. Lily's flight boarded in 50. He still had time. Or at least, he thought he did. He grabbed the wooden box, jumped into his car, and sped toward the airport. Every red light felt personal. Every traffic jam felt cruel. His heart beat harder with every passing mile. Meanwhile, Lily sat near gate 18. A boarding pass rested in her hands. People hugged. Families laughed. Children chased one another through the waiting area. She looked at the entrance every few seconds. Just once. She wanted to see Ethan. Not because she expected a grand romantic speech. She had stopped expecting that. She only wanted one last goodbye. One last hug. One last memory. The boarding announcement echoed through the terminal. "Passengers for Flight 247 to Rome may now begin boarding." She stood slowly, still looking toward the entrance. Nothing. She smiled to herself. "I guess this is really it." At that exact moment, Ethan sprinted through the sliding airport doors. His chest burned. He scanned every gate, every crowd, every face. Then, he saw her, standing in line, only 30 feet away. Relief flooded through him. He had made it. He took one step forward, then stopped. The fear returned. What if I'm too late? What if this changes nothing? His feet refused to move. People walked around him. Luggage rolled past. Announcements echoed overhead. And while he stood there, doing nothing, Lily handed her boarding pass to the gate agent. She crossed the jet bridge, without ever turning around. The silence that followed felt louder than the airport itself. Ethan stared at the empty entrance to the plane. His entire world suddenly weighed as much as the wooden box in his hands. He hadn't lost her because she moved away. He had lost her because he had spent 2 years waiting for the perfect moment. A moment that never existed. 6 months passed. Seattle no longer felt like home. Every coffee shop reminded him of her. Every bookstore. Every rooftop. He still wrote letters. Only now, there was no chance she'd ever read them. Then one October afternoon, his phone buzzed. Unknown international number. He almost ignored it. Instead, he answered. "Hello." Silence. Then, "Hi, Ethan." He stopped breathing. "Lily? I hope I'm not interrupting." "No." His voice cracked. "Never." She laughed softly. It sounded exactly the same. "I found something." "What?" "The birthday letter." His heart dropped. "The one you accidentally left inside that photography book you gave me 2 years ago." Ethan closed his eyes. He remembered. He had used the letter as a bookmark. Then forgotten it was there. "I've read it at least 50 times. He couldn't speak. She continued. "Can I ask you something?" He smiled sadly. "I have a feeling you will anyway." Was it true? Every word. Every sentence. Every page. Yes. Another silence. Then she whispered. "I waited 2 years to hear you say that." 3 weeks later, Ethan landed in Rome. He carried only one suitcase. And one wooden box. Lily met him outside a small train station in Tuscany. For a second, neither of them moved. Then she laughed. "You finally came." He smiled. "I finally stopped waiting." She walked toward him. So, you still owe me an honest answer." He stepped closer. Close enough to see the freckles the Italian sun had painted across her face. Close enough to realize he never wanted another goodbye. I've loved you since the girl who spilled coffee on my laptop. Lily smiled through tears. I know. You knew. I hoped. She laughed. You were terrible at hiding it. He laughed too. I guess I wasted 2 years. She gently shook her head. No. She reached for his hand. You found your way here. The station around them disappeared. The trains. The voices. The rushing crowds. None of it mattered anymore. Because for the first time in 730 days, neither of them had anything left unsaid. Sometimes love doesn't need perfect timing. It just needs one person brave enough to stop pretending. And sometimes, the words you've been afraid to say become the very words that finally bring you home.